What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today's just going to be a good old-fashioned garage day. Got a couple problems with the truck that I'm gonna try to address and knock out real quick. Basically, my last little test hit, I was playing with it and had an issue with the power steering line. So it blew. I thought I blew the motor because it was smoking everything everywhere, but ended up being the not transmission line, power steering line. It ended up being the power steering line. So I was able to get it fixed on the side of the road, get me back home, but I'm really going to fix it today. So we're going to do that, and we'll just see what else I get done today in the garage. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you guys can kind of see what I got going on and what I got a little surprise about too. So I turned the big 4.8 last month, so I bought myself a couple goodies. I don't know if you can see that, but I picked up this Vanata fabrication front lip. I think it helps really set off the front. Let me see if I can get a little closer. But yeah, I've already got it put on. That puddle you see there is from the power steering. So like I said, I'm gonna get that fixed today. I'm waiting on Amazon to get here. Supposed to be here between 7 and 11, so hopefully he get here closer to the early part. Let me get to the back, because this is also what I got for myself for the big 4.8. So the alternator on this thing, to me it did okay, but it needed more. So I picked up the I guess it's the 400 amp what's this, Mechman alternator. Gonna upgrade the power wire that goes to it. So I got another little breaker switch, and then got some new plugs to put in. Oh, the big thing is got some new floor mats. And then I got this new Holly Bluetooth controller. So I'm excited to try that out. And then here we go, this big bad boy. So end up getting this new intake manifold. So now, this is what's gonna happen. I need to get this thing on the dyno. Like it's crazy, it's fast. So, but I want to see how much power it's putting down on 15 PSI, just the way it sits with me street tuning it. So that's pretty much what I'm trying to do now, is get all the little stuff taken care of, so that way I can get on the dyno and let's see what it's doing. And then after I do that, I'm going to put this stuff on and have them tune it. And I want to see what the difference would be just going from this manifold, going from that manifold to this manifold. So stay tuned. Hopefully that gets done here soon. I haven't scheduled an appointment yet, because I hate being that guy trying to, go to appointment and I know I'm not ready. So, but that's what's happening today. So we're gonna start on this power steering stuff. I'm gonna start draining the fluid out, and then hopefully this guy shows up here shortly. All right, so while I wait for this guy to get here, the other thing I'm gonna try to accomplish today, I'm hoping, because I only got a few hours. Today is what is this? I'm not gonna butcher it. So it's the Day of the Dead, little festival. My wife is Mexican, so we go to a lot of those events, and I always look forward for the tacos and the churros. So I'm gonna get my eat on today. So I only got like about 2 to 3 hours in the garage. So, but what I want to do is also, because it sucks, is every time I want to drive this thing, I got to take the hood off, because the hood is just sitting on there because I didn't want to store it back on the side of the house. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to put the hood pins in, fix these little bolts, because some of them are hooked up, some of them are, because I ran out. And then also the other thing that I'm going to do is I need to trim back just a little bit right in here, so you don't really see that like that. And the other side I had already did when I first put them on, but I really haven't done anything since then. But here are my hood pins. So let me get these kind of where I think they're gonna sit. So something like that, something like that. I know some people don't like them, but I like them, and I'm gonna put them on. So let's get at it. Well, first I'm gonna raise this thing up, show you guys kind of where I'm at on the power steering thing. All right, so Amazon showed up, got the fitting that I needed. So the other fitting, where I got the leak, is leaking from the joint somewhere right in here. I think it was just too close and airing up and airing down. I think the fender, well, inside fender lining must have probably wore it out because it's leaking right there. And then also, oh, these are up here, in case anyone's ever seen these. These are magnetic zip tie holders. So they're pretty strong. If you got somewhere you don't want to drill or something like that, I got these off of Amazon, so they're pretty cool. And then got this little wrench kit. So this is a skinny wrench kit. My son's trying to do something with his turbo, and I didn't have any of these. I always wanted some, but I never had a reason to have any. But he needed like a 10 mil that was really skinny to hold a nut. So I decided I might just order a set to have. So, but let's get on this action. All right, so here's my power steering setup. I got I guess I'm not sure if you say it right, Bergeson pump. Well, not pump, but I guess steering box. All right, so this is what I believe happened. Before, I ran straight from the steering box straight to the pump, and it popped at a high RPM. So I decided maybe just wasn't enough fluid, and the fact that the supply line, the high pressure line, was actually just a little bit longer than the return line. So what I did to try to fix that was I put this inline heat sink oil cooler in there and cut the lines, made a couple, sorry about that, made a couple fittings, but it is leaking, I can't see it, off of this hose here. And then it's just dripping down onto this hose. But I went from, before it was dash 6 in and out, then I went dash 6 to the cooler, and then from the cooler dash 8 back up to the reservoir. So I'm gonna pull that line back off and replace the fitting. All right, got the line off, got the new one started to be made. Now I'm gonna show you guys the difference with the fitting wise. So I'm hoping that shortness right there gives me just a little extra clearance. So we'll see. So what's up, everybody? I am on day 2. Did have to cut yesterday short because, had things going on. So I'm gonna give you guys a recap on kind of where we at right now. Okay, so here's a quick little recap on my son's car. Was this a 10th gen Civic Si? So he had blew the turbo on this thing. I don't know if I showed it taken apart, because he had taken it apart. We confirmed the turbo was bad, and yesterday he came over and he got the new turbo in and got most of the stuff done. So this thing should be leaving pretty soon. So makes me happy. And what he needed that one skinny wrench for was, you couldn't get a regular wrench on this little nut here, the way it sits. But yeah, this thing is coming along, and I guess depending on what time he comes over, it might be gone, and I get my garage space back, actually. Okay, so I got the new line put on, everything back and hooked up. While I was under here, I decided, I'm gonna go ahead and grease all the fittings and all that kind of little stuff. And then one thing I noticed, I was trying to see what that oil was from. One thing I did notice was that the steering was just a little off when I was going to try to bleed the lines. And I decided, you know what, might as well go ahead and get that, when I'm saying the steering was off, the steering box. So I didn't, whenever I put the steering box on, I didn't center the steering, I guess, gear. So I'm gonna do that now while I'm underneath here and just get it done and out the way. Okay, so I got everything back together. Everything is centered, hopefully. I guess the alignment shop be the judge of that. But if anyone's ever wondering how you properly bleed a power steering system is you're supposed to fill it up, jack it up off the ground, kind of like how I have it, and then turn the wheel back and forth to get any air bubbles out, and then while it's off, then do the same thing after you get it running, do the same thing back and forth, you know, a couple times, and that should bleed the system properly to get any air out. So I'm about to do all that, and wish me luck. All right, everybody, so that's a wrap on this week's video. So I'm just gonna take the thing for a test drive, but also I want to dedicate this video to a young girl who lost her life in a car accident. She's one of the people who would give me tips when I first started to do this, and she also bought me my camera bag for my birthday. So I want to say rest easy, sweet girl, and I'll see you guys on the next adventure. Peace.
Cause son, your work on earth is done. Go